Hey guys, what's going on? Hope everybody's having a good day out there today. Welcome back to another edition of Intuitive Angling. And man, I just really appreciate you guys making some time for the videos every day. And actually down here at Table Rock Lake right now, I got an on the water lesson here. And just wanted to do a video real quick pertinent to the day's condition. It's like how bass are affected by cold fronts in the month of April, which is, in my opinion, guys, the month of April is the month that the cold fronts have the biggest impact on bass. So I'm gonna give you guys some tips and advice on how to attack that. And real quick before we get started here, just want to give you guys the weekly update. If you guys are interested in checking out one of our Fish the Moment lake map breakdowns, I'll include the link in the description. Myself, Matt Steffen, Johnny Schultz, we got lake map breakdowns of all the lakes across the country. We can build you a personal map breakdown if you guys want a small lake broke down. It's a great resource to learn more about a lake you fish a lot, or if you have a lake that you don't fish much and you want to know about it, it's a really good resource to save you a lot of time. So check them out at fishthemoment.com. Okay guys, down at Table Rock, we got a typical post-front April day. It's blowing like a mother out here right now. It's blowing like 25 miles an hour. Bluebird skies, cold. Water temperatures have dropped quite a bit. And in my opinion, like I said, this is the toughest month of the year as far as bass getting affected by cold fronts. A lot of the year, particularly if the water temperatures are over 70 degrees, bass are not nearly as affected by cold fronts as they are if it's earlier in the year. I think in my experience, it's like when that water temperature is between 55 and 65 degrees, that usually has the biggest impact on the bass as far as when a front rolls through. So basically there's a couple of different things that happen when a front rolls through. Is bass, it's not necessarily that they will change positions as far as where they've been at. Sometimes they will if they've been in really shallow water, but a lot of times their moods and their personalities change and you have to adjust your techniques. There's a couple different exceptions to that. If you say, for example, you've been out fishing and it's been unseasonably warm, say a couple days ago, and there's not much wind. A lot of times those bigger females sometimes will pull up shallow to take advantage of those windows of really warm weather. And if you have a day like today where it's blowing hard, super bright, cold, those shallow fish will sometimes move out. But say, for example, that you've been catching them like a typical April pattern, which is like jerkbait and secondary points, or throwing a crankbait on rocky banks, that type of stuff. A lot of times those fish don't move. If those fish are deeper than 5 feet deep, a lot of times they will not move. It's just that their moods and their personalities change. So one of the things that you have to do is, after a front rolls through in April, what I have found, there's two different things that will generate the strikes. Number one is your speed of retrieve, and number two is the color of the lures that you're throwing. Right off the bat, speed of retrieve, in order to generate a strike after a post cold front, when the air temperatures and water temperatures drop a little bit, one of the things you can do is speed up your retrieve, which sort of seems maybe counterintuitive a little bit. You think that if the water temperature would drop and the air temperatures would get colder, that a lot of times that you need to slow down. That's not the way it is. After a front comes through, bass are not actively feeding as much as they were if you have a rising barometric pressure and warmer air temperatures. So you have to capitalize and generate a reaction strike. And how you do that is speeding up your retrieve. So say, for example, if I was fishing a crankbait like at a medium, slow, stop and go retrieve, water temperatures in the upper 50s, after a cold front goes through like this, I'll speed it up. I'll go to a medium fast instead of a medium slow, or I just speed it up, and I'd make it where I hesitate, stop and go a lot more, trying to generate that reaction strike. Second thing that you can do on that is go to a shad pattern. I have found when you have bluebird conditions like it is right now, high winds, even doesn't really matter what the water clarities are. If you go to some type of a shad pattern bait, that gets you a lot more bites. I mean, a lot of people this time of year, when they're thinking about April, springtime, they're thinking about crawdad pattern crankbaits, red crankbaits, chartreuse if it's water's dirty. But guys, after that front rolls through, it gets bright, it gets a little bit colder, they will bite a shad pattern a lot better than anything else. So That's the first couple things that I do. But ultimately, you just sort of have to adjust your expectations a little bit. It simply is going to be tougher fishing, you know, than it would be prior to the front going through. Not that the fish can't be caught. It's just that their moods and their personalities change and they're not as actively feeding. You can still catch bass, but you have to capitalize on that feeding mechanism of them that didn't have anything to do with hunger. You have to generate strikes from reaction, curiosity, instinct, competition, not from just the bass feeding, that type of thing. So that requires a change in approaches a little bit. So anyway, nobody likes to fish in a front. Nobody likes to get out there when it's freezing cold and blowing like crazy. But that's just part of fishing, man. Every day is a different day on the water. You know, the weather conditions are just part of it. You're never going to get stable weather all the time. That's why you really have to get out here and fish on days like today, because that's how you know how to catch them in different conditions. I know most of us, it's like we prefer if it was 75 degrees with not much wind and, you know, just partly cloudy skies where they're biting like crazy, but that's not the way it is a lot of times. So anyway, guys, I'm going to get ready to get out there. Thanks for tuning in for the video again. And please hit that subscribe button, man. If you guys haven't had a chance to, join the club, hit the subscribe button, become a member, and we'll talk to you guys later. See you.